What's up, football fans of Review and Preview? Back at it here with another NFL draft prospect video. And in this video, I want to talk about a wide receiver who I think will be really dynamic out of the slot in the NFL. And that is Ohio State wide receiver Jaxon Smith-Njigba. And before I dive into him, I want to remind you all, as a courtesy call, to check us out on all of our social media on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Review and Preview. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a TikTok as well. We appreciate and support. Check out my previous video on TC wide receiver Quentin Johnston. Very excited about that one as well. So Jaxon Smith-Njigba. This is a very interesting prospect for me personally. Again, I mentioned receiver out of Ohio State, 6'1", 198 pounds, a junior, just 21 years old. A lot of people view him as the betting favorite to be the first wide receiver drafted. I'll explain why I disagree with this later on in this video, as much as I like the guy. 2022, he had just 5 catches for 43 yards. He was injured in the opening game of the season against Notre Dame. He played just 3 total games that season. In 2021, out of his 3 years, this was the only year that he was really relevant. 95 catches for over 1,600 receiving yards. That amount was third in all of FBS that season, and he had 9 down receptions in 13 games. This was the year he was also playing with Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, both who got drafted that offseason. So this past season, Smith-Njigba was supposed to be the alpha. Unfortunately, he was not due to his injury. That quickly changed into the hands of Marvin Harrison Jr. So this is interesting. In 2020, wasn't really a threat. 2022, injuries. 2021, breakout year. We don't know where this guy stands, which is why I don't think he's going to be the first receiver picked. Plus, he plays in the slot. He is not a true over-the-top wide receiver despite his height at 6'1". He did not run the 40-yard dash, which is a concern. Again, it's just the time, but he did run it at his pro day. I should say that. I should correct myself there. He didn't run it at the combine. But I will say what really flashes about this guy to me is his route running. He's the best route runner in this draft class. Possession receiver who's labeled as a slot guy. He can make the contested catches. He did run a 4.48 40-yard on his only attempt that he took at this at Ohio State's pro day, which was fairly interesting. Negatives, I mentioned the injury last season. He lacks speed to run past defenses. He is not very quick. And as I said, vast majority of his production came in one season out of his 3 years with the Buckeyes. Those are really the only 2 downsides to this guy, his speed and the injury. NFL comparison is Jarvis Landry. I do see it. I do. I think he could surpass Jarvis Landry potentially. It depends where he ends up and where he plays. But let's break down some film on this guy. I have a lot of plays to go over. Majority of these are from 2021, just so you know. And let's get to it. Like I did in the last video, I'll play everything out first so you can see all the plays, and then we'll break each one down. All right, first play here. You have a slant against the Ducks of Oregon. Does a good job getting across. Here's a jet sweep against Akron. And here's a catch against Rutgers in stride. Nicely done. Here we have another look at that. Touchdown against Nebraska. This was a fun play to watch him shake and bake right there. Again, not the quickest guy, as you can see. He does have some speed to him. Not the most, though. And again, you'll see another look of this. Again, nice juke move. And he's off to the races. Next, we'll see a curl route here against the Spartans of Michigan State. Curl route, boom, underneath, nicely done. Typical slot move. And lastly here, this is a jump ball touchdown against Utah. Keeps his feet in. I'll get another look at it here. Boom. So let's break each play down. So I'll pull my screen share up and we'll talk about each specific play for JSN. Now, it is important to note that this guy, let's see here, a lot of these clips you're going to see Olave and Wilson in them as well, as I warned you about earlier. Now, here's a slant against Oregon. I'll actually move this over here. All right, so you can see before Stroud does a little play fake here. He's up here cutting in. So he's a little delayed. Then he comes in on the slant here, makes the catch. Good route running, right? The route running allowed him to be that wide open. The defense was playing zone. And again, he's able to maneuver his way. Now, jet sweep. This edge player reads the play. He has him in his sights. Now, what happens? He runs vertically, or horizontally, I should say. Laterally is the correct word. I don't recommend doing this at the next level, but luckily he's quick enough to outrun a 280, 290-pound defensive lineman. Gets by him. He gets good blocking from, oddly enough, you see Chris Olave down here at the block. Jeremy Rucker, the tight end, nice block as well. And a good play out of bounds. Next here, we have I believe this is the catch against Rutgers down the sideline. So he's here right now. He's on a little delay. And again, this is just good timing. He dives out for the ball. Good hands, too. We haven't really talked about his hands yet. So you can see his eyes are on the ball the entire time. He lunges forward, pulls the ball in. That's great technique by Smith-Njigba. All right, now is the touchdown. So important to note on this play, again, route running, right? Lined up against slot corner. So again, he fakes like he's going left. He shakes back inside. This is not much. It should be a first down at most, but look at the second level linebackers drifting back for Nebraska. So Stroud identifies it. Again, he's really good at making people miss. Olave gives him a block, two of them actually, and that helps him get into the end zone. Very nicely done. And we'll get another look at this again. Just look at his head go with his left foot there. He plants his left foot in the ground. This DB is a little bit larger, has no chance. Oh, my goodness. And he actually goes towards the slot, the threat of Olave. This is zone coverage, very soft zone. It looks like cover two. So, again, just good route running and good spatial awareness by the receiver. So, next up, we have the curl route against Michigan State. He's down here. Simple curl. Look. This is what I want to point out about this play. Two defenders are closing in. He should be taken down. So he knows he has a defender behind him, but he's more worried about this guy because these are where his eyes are. So you get around him, and the rest works itself out because number 27 runs into his own teammate. I mean, this is not ideal. He gets the extra yardage. Nicely done. Last another touchdown, jump ball touchdown against Utah. Stroud has all the time in the world. Nicely done. And you can see it in slow motion here. Get a little handsy there. The DB is, but eyes up. Makes the overhead catch, gets the 1 foot in. So that is my film breakdown on Ohio State wideout Jaxon Smith-Njigba. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Lastly, I will say I think Smith-Njigba could fall into the mid to late teens at worst. I'm not sure where the first wide receiver is going to be picked this year. If it's within the top 10, look out. He could go early before 15, but right now I think he falls around in that 18 to 23 range. I could be wrong. It depends on how this class of wide receivers is viewed in this year's draft and what the current needs are. But I do think a team like the Chargers would be a good fit. They're in need of a slot receiver. The Saints are very low. He won't fall, but they could use one. Teams like that, I have to check. Actually, I think I have him mocked to. I'll pull it up for you in just a second. I have him mocked to the Baltimore Ravens, actually, and that actually would be a good pick for them. They could use a slot receiver as well. So, yeah, those are some teams that I think could use Jaxon Smith-Njigba's services. I think he'll be a great pro, but again, you hope he can stay away from injuries. One more time, folks, check us out on all of our social media, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok at Review and Preview. Our Facebook page is up here as well at Review and Preview Sports. Appreciate you all watching this video and stay tuned for the next one.